Welcome, everyone. We are super excited to welcome Kate Heartsong, and she is presenting on a topic that is so relevant, frankly, to every human being on the face of the earth, and certainly to all of us, both in terms of being clients and in being coaches, because we are all here and focus on meaningful change, achieving goals, and enhancing what we want. So this is such a great topic. I had the privilege of working with Kay in the Certified Professional Coach program. We were just talking about it. It's been over 5 years now. So it's so fun to have people come back and share their insights and really see their successes, which just awesome. To give you some insight on Kate, she focuses her efforts in being a confidence coach, a speaker, and an author. She is passionate about helping women realize their value and transforming self-confidence. She supports them in making positive change in their lives. So she's known as the confidence coach, does the public speaking, writing, and also teaching. So everyone, let's welcome Kate. And Kate, I'm going to give you the screen so you can show your PowerPoint.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. And thank you, everyone, for being here. I really want to acknowledge each one of you for the willingness of showing up for yourself, taking the time to be here. And thank you again, Kathy, for having me here. I am always so excited and delighted when I can share information that will really help transform people into recognizing, well, on our topic today, building confidence from the inside out, but also to fully step into our value and our greatness. So thank you. I'm going to start out with a story, and it's a true story. And then we're going to go right into our topic today. So imagine with me, many, many years ago when I was a teenager, I was on a big yellow school bus along with many of my classmates from high school. We were excited, we were happy, we were rambunctious because we were traveling back from Colorado Springs to Denver, which is about 75 miles, traveling back, and our high school football team had just won the game. And we were excited, and I know you can imagine the feeling, the energy, all of these teenagers. And my girlfriend, my best friend, was sitting next to me, and we were just excited and full of energy. At one point, everyone stands up, raises their arms to cheer, all in unison. So I decided to join them. And as my arms went up, my pants fell down. Everyone on the bus was laughing hysterically. My best friend Kim was laughing so hard. Everyone but me. I was mortified. My head went down in such shame. Well, years later, when I reflected on that experience, I realized, why was it I was so ashamed and not laughing with everyone else? And it's because I had such great shame, and it was from my childhood. You see, my father was mentally ill, and the dynamics of that, plus I lost a lot of my hearing at the age of 2. That caused me to have what turns out to be false beliefs, false conditioning of who I was. I ended up being very low self-esteem and low confidence. Well, fortunately, about 25 years ago, I decided to take the bull by the horns and make a change in my life. I had it with having low confidence, Anxiety, I didn't want that anymore. So I made change. I took a lot of workshops. I did a lot of self-help with reading books. I did therapy. And you know, I was able to raise my confidence. And I will share with each one of you. It's precisely because of that experience that gives me the passion and the joy to share with you today how you can build confidence from the inside out. You see, I am living proof that it's possible to up-level your confidence. Maybe you're already confident, but you need to have a little more. Maybe you're confident in one area of your life, but not another. Maybe you want more confidence for your coaching business. So that's why we're here. And I want to thank each one of you again for being here. It takes courage and it takes the desire to make change. And you will hear very shortly, change does come from the inside out. So let's go into our first topic. Oh, pardon me, the summary for today, 3 topics. 1, how we create our beliefs. It's through conditioning and programming. You're going to learn a tool to change a belief that's not working for you. Last, 2 simple tools to enhance confidence and calm. Let's go into the first. Conditioning, also known as programming. You see, from birth until about the age of 7, most of our conditioning occurs. And what that really means is when we hear repeated phrases from parents or teachers, and also when we ourselves use repeated phrases, certain words, we then become conditioned. It is through this that actually creates our experiences. So, as we go through life, we are going to experience this. And I'm going to pause just a moment because I'm noticing my mouse is not working. I can't open up the chat box, Kathy.
Okay, no, that's fine. And sometimes that'll stick in a system. So if you click your arrow key on your keyboard, sometimes that gets you past the mouse not working.
Well, my PowerPoint will work fine, but I'm not able to click on the chat button.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay.
So,
just tell me whatever you want.
Thank you. I want a new mouse now for my computer. Oh, technology.
Can't live with it, can't live without it, right?
Goodness. But anyway, but yes, we'll go ahead and go. So with the conditioning, recognize that through these experiences from people who are very important to us in our lives, we can create beliefs. Also, this happens through traumatic experiences. It will create a certain belief. The cool thing about all of this is that there's physiology, there's science that proves there's an actual physiological shift in our brain. And the neurons will actually fire together when they get stimulated. When we hear from something on the external, it actually will create a stimulus on those neurons. The screen you see here now shows a picture of neurons. And recognize the incredible, there's so many scientists, but I'm going to talk about 2 of them. One is Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks in his first book, Evolve Your Brain, The Science of Changing Your Mind. He talks about how when neurons do get excited and stimulated, they actually fire and then wire together. So let's go to the next screen. Neural pathways video. This is a really cool video. I'm hoping that on this venue GoToWebinar that it works. It is a real-time video of a brain scan. So we'll watch a few moments of it. And you're going to see how the neurons actually wire together in response to outside stimulus, also our own internal stimulus, which I'll explain.
Oh, it's so interesting to watch it, Kate. I'm not sure if we expected sound or not. We're not getting any sound. The visual is really cool.
Good, yes. And it works both ways. That is a powerful video. And it demonstrates there's real science proving that, yes, through our thinking and associated feelings, and also when we hear it from the outside, that we actually get conditioned. We can also uncondition. Here's a fantastic quote from Dr. Bruce Lipton that talks about this. You are not a victim any more than from the programming you have received. When we understand how we can change our minds, we can change our life. You will see how powerful you really are. So, how does this apply to us? I'm going to share very briefly some examples of how conditioning works. Little Johnny, he is 7 years old, and his parents and teachers have noticed that he has not really been doing very well in school. Naturally, they want to step up and help him. They hire a tutor, so this means that most days after school, Johnny needs to be with his tutor. This means he cannot go out and play with his friends. He sees all of his friends getting to play, but not him. He becomes conditioned to what actually is a false belief that he has to work extra hard. Guess what? He grows up and becomes a workaholic because he had this conditioning from the age of 7. And certainly this doesn't happen with every single person, but this is one scenario. Another example is relationships. What if you happen to witness your parents fighting all the time as you were growing up? You might think, as an adult, that relationships are all about arguing and fighting. Think about that. Money. This is a big one for probably all of us on the phone, on our webinar here. Oh, you have heard phrases, money is the root of all evil. Money doesn't grow on trees. My father always said, money is scarce. It's no wonder I grew up thinking money is scarce. I was programmed. I was conditioned to believe this. Guess what? For many years, up until recently, I did not have a lot of money. It was hard for me to make because I thought it was scarce. How does this apply to coaching? I'm going to invite you after our call or our webinar here, or tomorrow, whenever it's convenient for you, give it a thought. How are you showing up with your coaching business? How do you show up with the rest of your life? What beliefs were you brought up to believe that your parents innocently shared with you because it was their conditioning? They pass it on generation to generation. What beliefs, what values do you have that is influencing your coaching business? Hopefully you were brought up in an environment where your parents were very, very encouraging. But maybe they weren't. What beliefs do you have that might facilitate a very successful coaching business? But maybe something happened where it's not so successful. You keep working really, really hard. So this is something for you to examine, because when you get the insight, when you get clarity, then you can recognize, I can make change. Please also know, it's not that you want to overanalyze it. However, having an awareness will help you move into a particular direction on what you can do to make change. Our last example here is Jill. Sweet little Jill. She is 6 years old and she's just learning little arithmetic in class. And she has this artistic flair and decides to put on her homework where they're the numbers that have circles, like the number 9 or the number 6. She put little smiley faces in them. Isn't that cute? Putting little smiley faces, and she got really kind of artistic with it. She's so happy and proud. She gives it to her teacher, and her teacher smiles and gives her encouraging words. The teacher says, Jill, I can see you are an artist. Thank you. I love your smiley faces. What do you think would be Jill's opinion about herself when it comes to art? Guess what? Sure enough, Jill grows up confident that she is a great artist. So conditioning works both ways, right? The next screen, FBAR, Fear. And we had a picture of a funny but scared person. I wanted to put a little humor in here. And a good friend of mine, she's fabulous. She's just a born stand-up comic. She said the acronym FBAR stands for Forget Everything and Run. Well, that's really not what it is. And that's not what I'm advocating. But I wanted a little humor. But some of you may have heard of the FEAR stands for false evidence appearing real. That is exactly what I'm talking about with conditioning and programming. Many things we have heard repeatedly from our parents are really false. For example, maybe someone heard from their parents that you're really stupid, or, oh, you are so lazy, get up right now. Well, that's really false. Unfortunately, the person is conditioned. On the other side, there may be positive things. There could be some beliefs that are healthy. Fears and certain beliefs, such as, crossing the street and looking both ways. That's a healthy fear. You've got to be careful of cars. But again, another example of an unwarranted belief or fear. You're not worthy of having what you want. There's so many scenarios with this. The good news, though, is you can change your mind. You also can change your beliefs. You can uncondition and you can reprogram yourself. It's worth repeating Dr. Bruce Lipton's quote. You are not a victim any more than the programming you've received. When we understand we can change our minds, we can change our life. You'll see how powerful you really are. How to change your mind and beliefs. One really, really common way to do it, and probably most of you have heard about this, is positive affirmations. But please, please keep in mind it really works best when you do it with feelings and you act as if. Feel it and also think with it with the end in mind. You may be a person that visualizes better than feeling. If that's the case, visualize it. Now, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't happen overnight, but it can happen. And it does. It's really important that you recognize that you do want to add feelings and the acting as if. So let's talk about this a little bit. Positive affirmations. Let's do an exercise. For example, you can have a positive affirmation, I am now consistently building my coaching business. Visualize and feel this, and feel as if it's already happening. So I'm going to ask each one of you, if you're willing, go ahead, think about a positive affirmation you would like to create in your life, whether it's your coaching business or your personal life. Just come up right now with some brief affirmation. And I'll give you a moment to think about it. And now as you're thinking about this positive affirmation, visualize it and feel, what would it really be like to experience this? Be like a little kid, make believe, pretend. And guess what? What you think in your head actually is something that your brain thinks is happening. Because the brain does not know the difference between what's occurring outside and what you are thinking and feeling. So now I'll give you a few moments to just really feel and act as if, wow, this is really happening. All right. I'm hoping and I imagine that most of you might be feeling a good fuzzy feeling inside. Many of my clients that I share this tool with, and also the audiences that I do public speaking with, love this exercise. They can actually feel better after doing it. So I encourage you to practice. In fact, the next screen talks about what I call foundational concepts that make the tools more powerful, called the CIA. Of course, it's not the government agency, but it's consistency, intention, and awareness. Consistency means use the tools and whatever else you're using, do it on a consistent basis. That will help create a habit, and it'll make it much easier for you to implement it. Intention. Creating an intention to do something, or creating an intention that, yes, there will be success, is powerful. When you create an intention, what you're basically saying to Source or Universe and you're saying to yourself, I mean it. I have conviction behind these words, and this is what's going to happen. And it adds power to the action steps that you're going to take. I remember fondly a story of my 5-year-old daughter. This was many, many years ago. When I was in a rush to get to work, I was dropping her and her brother off to YMCA daycare. When suddenly she says to me, Mommy, I don't want to go. I'm not happy here. And I'm like, oh, Jamie, I'm sorry, sweetie, but I've got to go to work. Suddenly, an idea popped into my head. I suggested to Jamie, create an intention, walk into your daycare with the intention that today I'm going to have a good day. And she decided to do that. So she goes off, I go to work, and then at the end of the day, I come pick her up. And Jamie says to me, she comes running, Mommy, it worked. And I'm like, wow, what? Mommy, I had a good day. And I'm like, yay, oh my God, this is awesome. Wow, way to go. We gave ourselves a high five. And then I said to my daughter, okay, Jamie, there's a second part of this experiment. Tomorrow, I want you to go to daycare and intend to have a bad day and see how that works. And you know what she said? Oh, I'll always remember her face perfectly. Her eyes got wide open. And she said, oh no, Mommy, I don't want to have a bad day. Wow, imagine a 5-year-old recognizing the power of intention. So as adults, we can do that too. We can set an intention that these tools do work. And what other techniques you use, set an intention that they do work. The last is awareness. Awareness of whatever it is you want to change. Awareness of how you show up. Awareness of any beliefs that are not serving you. When you have this awareness, then you can recognize, oh, I can make change. Or when you have an awareness of something that is working for you, you can carry that forward. And yep, I'm going to continue doing this because it works. So I hope that all of this is making sense for you. So before we go on, I'm going to open this up for, just a couple minutes on any questions anyone may have. And then we're going to go into talking briefly about confidence. And you're going to learn 2 simple tools to raise your confidence. So Kathy, if you'll just share with me any questions people may have.
Yeah, and first off, to note, a couple of people have been sharing some of those positive affirmation statements that they were writing back when you were on that slide. So I'm going to share one that's pertinent to so many here, and it is, I am empowering others with my coaching business. So Amy, thanks for that one. Awesome. And then a comment on they're loving the idea of creating that intention and doing it in the positive. The comments that I'm getting are all really great. Everybody's talking about how much they're loving this. At this point, I am not actually seeing questions. I'm seeing just lots of positive input. So I'm going to say you're good, Kate. You can keep going.
Oh, thank you. And it brings such joy for me to hear that people are enjoying this. This is really, I have always said confidence, and then knowing the science behind it and just how we can change our beliefs. I've always said this is truly a foundation that everyone needs to know. Because unfortunately, so many people have been brought up thinking that they're victims. Yeah. This kind of information is not taught in school.
You know what, Kate? A question came in that's pertinent to exactly what you're saying. How can I increase my awareness?
Oh, thank you to who asked that question.
That was Doreen. Yeah.
First of all, please set an intention to increase your awareness. And there's many different ways you can do it. One is put an app on your cell phone that dings every hour or so to remind you to be aware. You can also put little notes around that you see, like something on your computer, on your bathroom mirror, something that reminds you to be aware. And what are you being aware of? There's so many things you can be aware of. This is actually a whole nother workshop, but I'll share briefly with you how can you increase your awareness. First of all, those reminders like the suggestions I just gave you. The other thing is, like I said, the intention. Also, please be mindful and that you are in the present moment, in the now moment at all times. Right now, you're very present and aware of my voice. Right now, you're very present on this webinar. Bring that same keen awareness and total presence in the present moment to everything you do. Whether it's at work or coaching or being with your child or being with friends, do that with awareness. This just takes practice, doing it consistently with intention. So thank you for that question.
Thank you.
Confidence. Oh, yes. There are so many, well, two kinds of confidence that I share here. One is self-confidence, the feeling of self-assurance where we appreciate our gifts and abilities. We recognize the good of who we are. For example, I'm confident I'm building a successful coaching business. Efficacy confidence. How effective we think we are in our ability to reach our goals. So when I put forth effort, am I confident that that effort is going to give me results? Do I have confidence in myself that, yes, I'm taking the right action steps? Am I effective enough? And there's an example. The marketing effort I put out is bringing me many clients. There are so many effects of low confidence. Some of you may have experienced this. You probably have seen this in your clients, your friends, family. Perhaps you, like myself, experienced this when you were younger and have been able to transcend it. But you can see on the screen several examples. The biggest one for me has always been self-doubt. Doubting myself because I'm not confident. Fortunately, this rarely comes up because I have built my confidence up. I recognize my good. Nonetheless, it still comes up from time to time. So this is where awareness comes in. Remember the CIA I was just talking about? Having an awareness of when certain thoughts come up, such as self-doubt, will help you then to make a shift. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. So there's so many things that could affect what we're doing because of low self-confidence. How much confidence do you have in coaching? How much confidence do you have in relating with people, or the type of questions that you can or should ask during a coaching session? Please recognize that our confidence does go in cycles. Sometimes we're really high on confidence, and other days something may take us off and we're not so confident. Some of you attendees here may be very confident, but something may trigger you and take you into a place of low confidence. Well, this is where you can use tools to bring you back up. We can have varying confidence levels in different areas of our lives. Maybe you're confident with coaching, but maybe not so confident with dating men or dating women. The last point on this screen, accept the opportunity to explore. The invitation to each one of you is to, with an open heart and compassion, and please, with no judgment, allow yourself to explore and check out. What beliefs do you have? What conditioning has caused you to do what you're doing? Be willing to be open to explore this, and do you need to make change? Also, please don't poo-poo and do not stuff the feelings you may have. 2 tools for expanding confidence. One is, it's very simple, but not always easy. Self-appreciation. Appreciation really means recognizing the full worth of someone or something. So here, recognize your full worth. Recognize your skills and gifts. And I will tell you, please, please, please understand this. Recognizing this within yourself and also with coaching clients, because all what we've spoken about is applicable to how your clients show up. Why are they doing what they're doing? It's because of conditioning. Do they have a high self-confidence? Do they appreciate themselves? So whatever I'm sharing here with you is also certainly true with your clients. And it can help us understand, why is the client not doing something? Or why does the client seem to keep self-sabotaging? There may be a deep unconscious belief that this person doesn't deserve to have good things. Maybe that's why they keep self-sabotaging. So this is where the whole idea that we can create new beliefs comes in. And by the way, I'm going to sidetrack just briefly here. How do we know what beliefs we have that are unconscious? Because many of the conditioning that we have is unconscious, and we may very well not be aware of it. How do we become aware of it? The answer is this. You are aware of it because of how your life shows up. So for example, if you were brought to believe that money is scarce, likely you will grow up with not having much money. So the answer is yes, you can know what is in your unconscious by seeing how your life plays out. I hope that makes sense. So getting back to self-appreciation, appreciating yourself can help to undo any beliefs you might have that, well, maybe you're not worth it, or maybe you're not good enough. So we're going to do a brief exercise now. Write down 3 skills or talents that you have. Or if you don't have paper handy, just think about what 3 skills or talents or gifts do you have. And I'll give a couple moments of quiet for you to think about that. Okay, if you would please think of one of them. Just pick one. For example, it could be, I'm a great gardener, or I'm a great listener. A great skill may be, I am a great coach. Or maybe you have a really good knack for details. So picking one of those, now just close your eyes, because we do better when our eyes are closed. We're not distracted by what we see in front of us. close your eyes and think about that one skill you have and just go into the area of your heart and put a smile on your face and just imagine yourself doing this particular gift or skill. And I'll be quiet for a few seconds while you just totally appreciate yourself for this. With that smile on your face, imagine doing this particular gift or talent that you have. All right. Now I'm going to ask you if you'd be so kind to send a little message through the chat. How do you feel right now with one or two words describing, are you feeling more calm or do you feel happier? Maybe you're uplifted. Maybe you're feeling the same, but just put one or two words on how you're feeling right now. And then Kathy, if you'll share a couple of them.
Yeah, absolutely. They're popping in. So I've got more calm, happy, joy, content, more in the moment, excited for possibilities, content, uplifted and empowered, proud, excited, capable, confirmed, validation, belief, I can, confident, smiling inside. You got lots of people responding. This is awesome, Kate. And they continue coming in, by the way.
Awesome. And I thank all of you for the willingness to do this exercise. And guess what? I only had you do this for about 30 seconds. See how powerful you are? I'm clapping for all of you.
Awesome.
Yeah. See how powerful you are? By the way, the next exercise is positive self-talk. So I'm going to ask each one of you right now, think about a pink elephant. I bet all of you thought about a pink elephant, right? It's your choice on how you think. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or can't, either way, you're right. So having positive self-talk is a powerful tool. It's simple, but it's powerful, where it can shift and help you get to the next level of your level of confidence. It can help actually in all areas of your life. You can take control. It's important to recognize when, probably all of us have done this. I used to do this all the time. I used to call myself stupid all the time. That was my mantra. That was my phrase as I was growing up. That's how I felt about myself. Well, thankfully, over about 25 years ago, I shifted and changed. It is so rare. In fact, I don't think I even ever say that to myself anymore. But the point is, it's choice. And going back to the CIA, consistency, intention, and awareness, when you use positive self-talk on a consistent basis and you are aware of when you are not using positive self-talk, then you can make positive change. I want to caution each one of you, please don't ignore the critical voice. Yes, it's there and you don't want it to overtake you, and hopefully it's not your status quo and it's happening all the time, which is the case with a lot of people. We see this all the time where people do have that negative critical voice all the time, but hopefully it's not there that much. My encouragement is that you don't ignore it because it may have some important information for you, but don't let it overtake you. Don't let it be your status quo, your way of showing up all the time. Don't be, oh yeah, this is how I'm always beating myself. I didn't get another coaching client. There must be something wrong with me, blah, blah, blah. What's wrong with me? I can't have a positive, happy, intimate relationship. Well, use that as an invitation to explore, not to get overly analytical about it, but what is it behind it? And this goes back into conditioning. What have you been programmed to believe? So my homework assignment for each of you, if you decide to do it, is to be willing with the open heart and no judgment to explore what are the critical voice messages. And then get into the idea of being aware of that critical voice. And then you could imagine, for example, a stop sign. Stop. I'm going to stop that critical voice. My intention right now is I'm going to recognize it. Maybe I'll talk with it later, but right now my intention is to replace it with something positive. For example, I have been working, I'm giving this as an example for you to think about how this works. Maybe you've been working really hard to getting coaching clients and it just hasn't been happening. You might be saying, there's something wrong with me, I can't do this, and blah, blah, blah. Then you see a stop sign because you're aware of this. And then you stop. And then you could replace it with something positive. Okay, I know I haven't gotten coaching clients, but I am still just learning how to market myself. I am doing the best I can. And I'm recognizing I do have some great gifts and skills. So instead of beating myself up, I'm going to say positive things to myself. How does that feel? Oh my goodness. Have you ever met a person who comes walking in the room? They're very charismatic. They're very happy. They have that energy about them. They're positive. Everyone just gravitates to this person. Do you think that they constantly beat themselves up and are criticizing themselves all the time? Of course not. Instead, they're probably using a lot of positive self-talk, right? It takes consistency, it takes practice, but guess what? I promise you, when you do this, that you will increase your self-esteem and confidence. And be aware also, how are your clients speaking to you? Are your coaching clients more tending on the negative or the positive side? And please share these techniques with them. These are very simple. I also have many other techniques to help increase confidence, but these are just two of them, and they're very powerful. So we're going to do a brief exercise again. Write down or think about something positive that you can tell yourself in place of a critical comment. If you're aware of a certain phrase that you tell yourself when you beat yourself up, what positive thing can you say instead? All right. Well, I always have massive fun doing this, whether it's with my clients or audiences or now this webinar. Time goes by so fast. We're pretty much almost done. So I'll give you a super brief summary. Tool to change belief or conditioning or programming. Have positive affirmations, and please do it with feeling and visualization. That's what makes it all the more powerful. 2 enhancing confidence tools, self-appreciation and positive self-talk. And last, this is a foundation to all areas of your life and certainly applicable to using with your tools because it makes it more powerful. The CIA, consistency, intention, and awareness. So I'm going to wrap this up by sharing my contact information with you. You can see on the screen my phone number, 303-549-0546. My email, kate@joyfulradiance.com. Again, kate@joyfulradiance.com. And my website, joyfulradiance.com. And I welcome you to go to my website. There's a lot of different confidence building articles. There's also a 1-hour audio under my product tabs that you might like. It's called Build Confidence, Reduce Fear. And people really enjoy that. And they love the articles I share. And if you'd like to be on my email list, you'll receive reminders and ways to uplift yourself. And I'm going to wrap it up. We're going to have maybe a couple of minutes of Q&A, but I would like to wrap it up by offering each one of you, if you're interested, a half-hour free coaching session where we can focus certainly on anything you'd like, but I can help you on how to gain confidence if that's what you'd like to focus on. And I would like to offer each one of you, if you're interested, because I feel like this is a really important community, that we're here all under the umbrella of Kathy Liska's amazing work that she has provided for us. I know I'm deeply grateful for becoming a coach through her program and all the wonderful things, amazing tools and seminars and webinars like this that she offers. So I feel like we're really in a community. And for that reason, if any of you decide you would like to have confidence coaching, I will offer you half price on my coaching, because this is what I am very passionate about. I'd love to empower and help each one of you to have a very successful coaching business, whether it's with your personal life or your coaching, so that you can have a more joyful life. So thank you. And at this point, I'm open to any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kate. So I will share whatever questions you all type in the question box. And in addition to that, one thing that we can do is unmute you individually. And the way I know to do that is either raise your hand or type in the question box that you want to come on live and ask a question. In the meantime, Kate, I've got a question that was submitted earlier. And it is, how can I increase my willingness to explore where my conditioning came from?
Kathy, could you please repeat that question?
Yes. How can I increase my willingness to explore where my conditioning comes from?
How can I increase my willingness to explore where my conditioning comes from?
Yes.
First, having the desire, the willingness to do so, involves what is the goal, what is the end result of, and what is the benefit of you knowing what the conditioning is. So if you know, which you will, have increased benefit by understanding your conditioning, because that will help you improve your life. When you know that the end result is positive, that can increase your willingness. It'll give you more motivation. Are you wanting to have a better life? Maybe this area of your life is working well, but another area is not. How motivated are you to make change? And if you are, then I encourage you to explore. And you can explore the conditioning by taking a piece of paper, write down all the different areas of your life, such as finances, health, work, relationships, and so forth. And then write down the one sentence, am I happy with this area in my life? And then write down, what are my beliefs about it? And that'll give you clarity. So thank you for that question.
Awesome. Another one that came in, how did you decide to focus on being joyful?
Haha, thank you for that question. I think in my mid-30s, late 30s, I was so stressed. I was so anxious most of the time. Part of it was from the bad marriage that ended up in a divorce. But I came to such pain that I just thought, I have got to live in a different way. It's almost like I had to hit bottom with emotional distress for me to say, I am going to make change. And I'll tell you what, I made such a powerful intention that I am going to make change. And I did whatever I could to do that. And that's what gave me the motivation to seek out workshops, to read the books, and do all the work I did. Kind of goes back to the first question, the willingness. Am I willing to live life better? And so, yes, with that intention and that motivation, yes, that's what got me. And then I ended up realizing I needed to get out of this marriage because my then husband was doing massive verbal abuse, and I couldn't live with that. And I did not want to model that to my children. So that also motivated me.
Nice. Yeah, it's funny how sometimes it really takes something like that. Kate, I do have one person that wants to come on live and ask a question. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, Tracy, I am unmuting you. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, Kathy, and thank you, Kate. I'll be quick. This and it may be somewhat involved, but all of us as coaches, we are sympathetic and also empathetic to our clients, and we care about people, obviously. But one of the principles that we've learned is that we treat persons that are whole. And unfortunately, like you mentioned, so many people, because of their conditioning, they are emotionally scarred and really need help beyond coaching. So my question for you is, as a confidence coach, how do you balance that in your approach where you may realize you're not really treating a whole person? And I'll stop there.
Thank you, Tracy. That's an excellent question. First and foremost, of course, is the awareness. Through coaching, is the coaching working? And certainly one of the ethical tenets is not to continue coaching if it's not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And that is a fine balance sometimes between, some people are able to raise their confidence and make changes in coaching or making change through coaching, but others may not be because they are really scarred. So I really believe it's certainly first and foremost awareness of where they're at. And you do have that awareness as a coach. And then, yes, share with them that I actually have not had this happen with my clients, but I would suggest you speak from the heart and say, there's so many good things, you have so many talents, and yet I don't see that this coaching is going to be quite enough for you. And my suggestion is that you do this and that. And just be honest with them, but intermingle it with positive words of what, so that you can help them recognize the good that they do have.
Oh. And in keeping with what you're sharing there, Kate, another way of approaching that is saying, I'm hearing things that go beyond coaching. What is going to be
a nice way to say it?
Yeah, what is going to be the appropriate service for you, or what support do you want? And to further answer Tracy's question, I've actually had clients that are working with either a psychiatrist or a counselor and also working with me as a coach. And so what they do is they disclose that with us, and clients have the choice of signing so that the coach and their mental health professional can actually talk and coordinate what they're doing. So that's an additional option. And I have a story I've shared with people. I actually had a client that I worked with for over a year, and he said to me, Kathy, I didn't tell you this when we first started. I want to tell you now. I was suicidal when we started. And
Oh,
and he said, I'm telling you now because you saved my life. He said, I couldn't stand the thought of going back to my psychiatrist or going back to my therapist or going back to my minister because all we did was talk about the problem. And the way you saved my life is you don't talk about the problem, you talk about where I want to go and how I'm going to get there. And that's what saved my life. So,
wow.
Tracy, you're so right on. There's a time and a place for the mental health professionals. There's a time and a place for coaching. Sometimes they overlap, sometimes they're separate.
That's a powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing that. And also your suggestion on what I'm hearing beyond coaching. I like that too. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you, Tracy, for that important question.
Yeah, that was awesome. Kate, to share with you, I have had a number of people saying thank you. They look forward to exploring your site, learning more about you, sharing how much they appreciate your being here. One comment talked about how you kept it simple and compact. So they were able to follow your line of thinking and it was impactful on their heart. So that was really good. Lots of appreciation from everyone. And it continues coming in. So I do want to thank each and every person for being here. We're so excited to have had the time with all of you. And I also want to say thank you to Kate. We so appreciate what you put into this. You're sharing with us while you're here today. To let everyone know, I will be emailing a link to this on YouTube so that you can go back and listen to it again and gain additional wisdom from that. So thank you, everybody. And Kate, thank you so much. Fabulous webinar.
You are so welcome. And thank you, everyone, once again. And so many good wishes for each one of you. And thanks again, Kathy. Bye-bye.
Take care.